There's a slasher villain on the loose in Angel Falls, where everybody's gay. And it's up to a quirky, modern, closeted, sassy girl to play a bit of Back to the Future too, by entering another timeline. This chick is going to slay this totally killer scream fest in It's a Wonderful Knife. Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Ball Reviews. I'm, of course, your host, Andrew Iles. That's right, It's a Wonderful Life, directed here by Tyler McIntyre, known for directing the film Patchwork, Tragedy Girls, and the segment The Gawkers in VHS 99. We open the film on a small town called Angel Falls and introduced to the creepiest mayor ever, Mr. Waters, with his spray tan and his pearly white veneer chompers, played devilishly awesome by Justin Long. He's on a mission to get some old kook to sign away his heritage property so he can build what we all need more of, a huge, humongous shopping mall full of consumerist bullshit. But the old kook's having none of it! Mayor Waters has the help of his right-hand man, Joel McHale, who's forced to duck out on his family on Christmas Eve to help with this shady business deal. He has a family of four. He has wifey poos, totally gay son Jimmy, and a quirky daughter Winnie who's got more attitude than WWE in 1998. And the kid's gay lesbian auntie comes to visit for the holidays with her diverse girlfriend. Ha! Gay! Played here by Ginger Snaps' own Catherine Isabel. While Daddy McHale is trying to help Jeep a creeper mare, the two siblings decide to go off to a party on Christmas Eve. With 2 seconds of the party, totally gay Jimmy hooks up with a hunky black dude and they start making out just to reiterate that he's totally gay. Ha! Gay! All the while, Winnie's boyfriend is totally not cheating on her, and she stands up for the weirdo girl who she totally won't fall in love with later down the track. Then a slasher villain rocks up at the old kook's residence, dressed as a white supremacist dementor, to murder the old kook. I wonder who this slasher villain could be. He kills the old kook, and now he's got a taste for blood. And he decides to assassinate the rest of the old kook's family, his granddaughter, who just so happens to be at the party full of disposable teens. Also, funnily enough, she happens to be Winnie's best friend. What a coinkydink! Dementor the White crashes the disposable teen party, murders the granddaughter in front of Winnie, and Winnie's having none of it! She nuts up, grabs a pair of jumper cables, and electrocutes the slasher villain to his death. It's electrifying! The end! No, not quite. She takes off the killer mask to reveal Mayor Mr. Waters. And he would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky gay kids. Then flash forward a year later after the tragedy, and everyone has moved on except for Winnie. This gives Winnie the poos, so she runs off into the night, goes to the local pier, and under the northern lights, she makes a Christmas wish that Christmas should die or something, which can only go well. Then she ends up in an alternate timeline because Christmas magic. Then the film pulls a Back to the Future 2, where this alternative timeline, Mayor Mr. Waters didn't die, he ends up succeeding with his plan, and the whole town of Angel Falls looks like a shit version of Hill Valley. All the while, this slasher villain is on a massive killing spree in this timeline. But Winnie is here to make things right. Apparently she doesn't exist in this timeline, but knows everything about the town and everyone in the town, even who the Angel Fall killer is. So she's going to team up with Weirdo Girl, totally not fall in love, and fix this timeline. I think their plan is to kill the Mayor Mr. Waters, make another wish after the Northern Lights, I guess. But they better be quick, because those Northern Lights are disappearing quicker than Marty McFly in a Polaroid. And if they completely disappear, Winnie is stuck in this timeline for good. How do we know this? Who gives a shit? Have a convoluted love story tacked on. And wouldn't you know it, Winnie and Weirdo Girl totally fall in love. For reasons. Ha! Gay! Yep, that's pretty much everyone now in this town. No straighties here. Anyways, turns out there's a different killer in this timeline in the same getup and outfit. The girls discover who it is, they make another wish, and yada yada yada, you were special the whole time. The end! The first act of this film I was really on board with. It was purposefully cheesy and self-aware. And I thought it was going to go down a very interesting and original path where our heroine, our protagonist if you will, knows who the killer is throughout the entire film, and in this alternative timeline is trying to get evidence and trying to convince the townsfolk that it's actually the mayor the whole time. But unfortunately, the film didn't do that. Original storylines aren't interesting. You know what is interesting though? Gay representation in film. Gay! The love story is tacked on here. It's pointless, convoluted, and boring. Speaking of convoluted, the filmmakers forgot that they were making a slasher movie and decided to wrap things up quickly with a convoluted, twisty twist of who the killer is. And it made no fucking sense. But they had to wrap it up pretty quickly so Winnie and Weirdo Girl could run off to scissor in the sunset. It's obvious with the punny title, this is a horror twist on the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life. But besides the alternative timeline plot, that's pretty much where the similarities begin and end. None of the messaging or the life lessons from that film carried over into this one. Of course, Justin Long steals the show. He's brilliant in every scene he's in, chewing up the scenery like it's Hubba Bubba Bubblegum. But unfortunately, he disappears for a massive chunk of the film right in the middle. He pops up at the beginning and doesn't pop up again until just before the end. Joel McHale was also giving it a red-hot go, showing off some serious acting chops when he was allowed to. And it's always great to see horror alumni pop up in films like this, here of course being Catherine Isabelle. The film also barrels through at a breakneck pace, with a runtime clocking in at just roughly 72 minutes. However, the middle section of the film felt like 2 fucking hours. The film feels like it's going for a bit of Thanksgiving meets Totally Killer vibe. This film could have been really good. Like I said, I was really on board for the first act. It had a decent cast with sort of like a quirky idea of possibly turning the Scream formula on its head by aforementioned having our protagonist know who the killer is and trying to convince the town in this alternative timeline. But halfway through, the film forgot that it was a slasher movie and tacking on a coming out / love story subplot that just bogged the film down. Slashers don't need love stories, people. The film could have been way more original than it ended up being, but of course it spent most of its time making sure that we knew there were gay people in it. Anyway guys, that's my review of It's a Wonderful Knife. Write down if you've seen it, if you're excited about it, but more importantly, what is your favourite Christmas horror film? And of course, if you've made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up because your love and support keeps me going, because I just love movies and I assume you do as well. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon because I give out an episode weekly, and I'll see you back here next week for the next review, and until then, stay spooky kids.